Um, Alright guys, welcome back to another session of Gamers, Remorse, and Friends play Hoard of the Dragon Queen. Last time, our party was called into aid to defend the keep as the kobolds and their allies broke through the side wall. The keep's defenders fought the foes at the main gate. The heroes protected the sally port, slaying the foes and waiting while holding off the attempts of entry. With the aid of a local cleric, they mended the port gate and the door before joining the other defenders at the front line. They found a giant reptilian man, a half-dragon, Androsia Cyanwrath, who was issuing a challenge for someone to meet him in single combat in exchange for captives. Keithan volunteered to step forward, where he was slain down in front of his friends. We did note we made a mistake last time, which we solved off-camera. Keithan had inspiration, and so he would have had advantage. So after all of that resolved, we had him use his advantage on his dex save, which he passed, so he took half damage, which put him not at his negative bloodied value, so he did survive. He had to make 3 save throws, which, if I can draw your attention to the middle screen, YouTube viewers, to you guys, it would be up in your command box. He rolled a 14, an 11, and a 17. So he managed to survive. He came back with 1 hit point. At that point, we hit what in the adventure system they call milestones. And so at that milestone, completing that, everybody hit 2nd level. We also ran the numbers, so anyone who's interested, they did have 365 experience points where you level at 300 in 5th edition. So before we pick up, do people want to enlighten us on what their character gained as they entered 2nd level?
Anybody pick up a level of cleric?
I did gain cure wounds.
Hey!
Did you really?
Yeah.
That was mostly for a joke.
You ruined it!
Sorry, I was supposed to go like this. Did anybody pick up a level of cleric?
There it is.
So a few of you guys, I know Aaron's character got access to spells. Those of you who can cast spells, you got more spells and spell slots, I believe.
Yep.
I finally have my character sheet.
And Aaron
So
finally
for
has his
once,
character sheet.
I can actually be looking at something here.
I didn't realize character sheet was a 2nd level ability for rangers.
Yeah.
You have to unlock it. It's ridiculous.
That just kind of sucks.
Yeah.
The actual ability was overcome lazy DM.
hmm
So he was
Boy,
able-
that one was a hard one to pass.
Good
That
one.
was a feat.
I mean, I had to crit roll that one like 3 times in a row to get that.
Yeah. All right.
Good thing
Well.
we're milestoning and not doing experience gain. That's impossible.
All right.
So-
Well.
I also gained the ability to wild shape. just
Okay.
For what it's worth.
So you can shift forms between human and an animal.
Mm-hmm.
Always
Multiple
fun.
animals. Mm-hmm.
I picked up my warlock invocations,
Okay.
so I'll be doing this a little bit more damage with Eldritch Blast, and I also have the ability to alter, what is it, alter shape?
Disguise self.
Disguise self, I think. I looked at a lot of them. Hang on. Mask of Many Faces, the disguise self at will spell.
Okay.
I can swing my sword 1 extra time a turn.
Nice.
Once
got
per
the
short
power.
rest.
Yeah. It's not an extra attack always yet,
No, that's a
Coming.
while.
but it's coming.
And I got
Actions are
cunning
responsible.
action. Oh, I got cunning action, which lets me do an extra action that's limited to hide, dash, dodge, duck, dive, and dodge.
Dodge.
Or disengage, not dodge.
If you could cunning action with a wrench, you could cunning action with a ball.
Oh yeah, I chose archery for my fighting style, So I have
Nice.
+2 to ranged attack. So now my low rolls are actually going to have like +7 to them. So hopefully they'll
Nice.
still hit even with their, 5 or whatever getting rolled. I also have Hail of Thorns. That'll be fun. So I say let's attack all these guys.
Let's go crazy in the keep, man.
Let's do it.
Did Gilgamesh unlock any additional abilities at level 2?
Still on mute, regardless.
Gilgamesh is muted. Is he?
Does he have additional retainers?
There. Now he's not muted, but he can't hear him.
I hear music.
I was gonna say I think he can hear his music.
I would assume since he's a fighter, he would get the same benefit I did.
Alright. Well, we will resume until we figure out what's going on. We've been having some fun technical difficulties all night. So, if everything dies and YouTube's like, what happened? That's what happened. There's more technical difficulties. Alright, so let's just pick up. So, where we left off, I can state that as truth. But so where we left off, Keithan was just struck down by the half-dragon, who then left with his horde. You guys were kind of escorted back into the keep before they shut and barred the gates to start kind of like figuring out what's going on as people are leaving town. To this point, Governor Nighthill just comes up and he's just like, "Thank you, all of you, thank you for what you have done. I believe now would be a good time if you would like to retire for the night and take a rest. Me and my lieutenants will try to figure out what our next steps will be."
Cool.
So at this point, do you guys just want to head into the keep and take a long rest, or what would you like to do?
I'm okay with that idea. I need some spells.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay.
Oh.
Alright, so you can return to the keep and take a long rest. Is there anything else you guys would like to do before taking a rest?
No, not really.
How much do crossbows go for these days?
Oh, actually, Twidget, do we need to settle up accounts for
Bets.
bets?
Oh, yeah. So, I take money from Aranor. 1 gold.
Money he
And
doesn't
I
have.
give 2 to Gilgamesh.
Okay.
I believe is how that goes.
Had anyone bet on Keithan?
That would be me.
So, lesson learned.
He should get inspiration for that.
Never bet on a party member.
He
Yeah.
was like, "Go
Yeah.
team!"
So Eric
Man.
got 2 gold because he bet on the dragon.
Gilgamesh.
Gil.
Gilgamesh will be back soon. His PC crashed. Because half orcs and orc technology, you know how it is.
Yeah.
Alright, so
Gentlemen, half-orcs.
the rest of you is presuming it sounds like you're just getting your gold and calling it a night. So, I mean, the elves would get up 4 hours sooner than the rest of you. Is there anything the elves would like to do in your extra 4 hours after trancing?
He must be on speed or something.
I kind of want to go see if there's any arrow supplies somewhere. I want to see if I can stock up on some arrows.
Okay.
I'm just going to go kind of search for their arrow supply and kind of see if there's anyone guarding it. Kind of help myself to a couple arrows. I figure I deserve them.
Well, I mean, you can pretty much find the armory. They've pretty much turned a corner of the keep into the armory, where they have one guy kind of standing over the weapons and armor. But as you approach, he kind of recognizes you, and he's just like, "Oh, thank you, good sir, for the aid that you've provided. Is there anything we can do to help you?" And he just kind of fills your quiver.
Awesome.
As the rest of you come awake, Galileus will have just kind of been chilling, walking around. You come awake around to noon, and as you're kind of getting up, Escobar, the dwarf, he kind of comes running towards you, and he's like, it's good that you are up. Nighthill requests your presence at the front gate. Please, come with me if you will.
Okay.
Do you choose to follow him, or how do you proceed?
Who's this to? To all of us?
Yeah, the dwarf just kind of like came to where you guys are resting as you're waking.
I'll go.
Alright.
Yeah.
Sure.
Brian, just to clarify so I know, filling quiver means what exactly for numbers?
I believe your quiver can hold 20 arrows.
Okay.
Alright, so as the group of you, as you approach Night Hill, you see he is talking with a man, well armored, kind of in hushed tones. The armored man is holding a map that the two are kind of like, it's a rough sketching from what little you can tell as you're approaching. But as Night Hill sees you approaching, he just kind of like passes the man on the back and waves him off, so the man leaves in the other direction. So Night Hill starts walking towards you, hand outstretched, and greeting. How would you like to approach?
I shall stand here and let him approach.
And I should specify at this point, just so you guys know, you are all, as you leveled and then took a long rest, you guys are all back at full HP as well, as full stocked everything. So as you approach, he just kind of like reaches out and shakes whichever of you offers your hand first, if any of you offer your hand in return, and works his way down the line. And then he says, I thank all of you for the work that you have done these last few nights. It has been very beneficial to us all. You have my deepest thanks and gratitude. But if you're willing, there may be one more issue that you could be of benefit to us.
What is that, good sir?
He kind of waves over a man in the corner who's carrying a bag, and he goes, our defenders are all busy in preparations attempting to defend the keep, as well as making sure that people are fed, cared for, and checking the damage throughout the town. But it seems that the trail the bandits left is quite discernible, and we were wondering if you would be willing to, perchance, follow them to learn whatever you may that could be of benefit to us if you could return with any knowledge you could acquire of their camp and the area roundabouts. We took up a small collection, and if you're willing, we can repay you on your return 1,230 gold points.
It's oddly specific.
It's almost like they calculated how much 250 gold would be for the 6 of you.
How very strange.
And as the young man approaches, you can see he has a bag, and he hands it to him, and he goes, "Here's the gold, so that you can ensure we are not just making false promises."
I ask him if there are any other things he can offer us in aid while we're performing the task at hand, specifically any sort of health potions or weaponry.
He said, looking at you, he goes, "Our weaponry, we are not well stocked, but you can peruse it if you will. You can take any arrows you may need. We can fill your water skins and provide you with food for your journey. Any swords or spears we would prefer if we could get back by chance."
I raise my eye and say, crossbows?
he kind of looks over to the dwarf and says you'd have to check with him. He's not entirely sure himself what the armory holds, but you could look over it.
I'm curious, how much gold did you say?
You would each end up with 250.
Okay, so 1,500 gold total.
Don't tell the wood elf he can't count.
So
You would get 200.
So he is offering a fairly well-stocked armory.
Yep, he says you can kind of like take a look over and see what they have available. He requests that if possible, the weapons be returned upon completion for the sake of defending the camp.
Does he have any studded leather armor?
He kind of looks and he says, I'm not entirely sure what the armory holds. You'd have to check for yourselves. I'm sure Escobar would be willing to give you a tour.
Yeah. I'm interested in looking at that studded leather as well, Barry.
Yeah, let's go look. So before I do that, I'm going to challenge him real quick just to say, so you're expecting a small group to counterattack this large of an army?
Counterattack? No, not at all. We were wondering if you could find their camp and return with any information that could be of use. So perhaps once our town is back in defense, we could try to rouse the other communities. And mayhaps if we all work together, we could form a stronger army that could counterattack.
So are we expected to infiltrate the camp, or just...
Whatever you deem
stay on the outside?
best. Whatever you feel you are capable of to get as much information as you can.
Okay.
I make my way over to the dwarf, and I inquire about crossbows.
Yeah, 250 is probably good. I don't think we're probably going to get much more than that out of him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I follow to the dwarf in hopes that I can get some better armor.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I mean, he kind of leads you to the corner armory, where Galaneus, you've already kind of seen what all they have there.
I got the arrows. I hadn't thought about armor.
Yep. So as you approach, there's, I mean, most of the armor seems to have been taken, but there are a few just standard leather armor suits hanging up on wooden crossbeams, as well as a few short swords, a couple scimitars and spears.
So no half plate.
There is no half plate.
Ah, darn.
There's
Not
no
even studded.
There's no studded
full
as well.
plate either, right?
There's no full plate in the armory, but I mean, if you're willing to borrow a guard's attention. So would any of you like to take leather armor at all, or any of these swords or daggers, or do you think you're well enough equipped as is?
I think I'm well equipped.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing fancy for the daggers, right? There's no nothing like full silver daggers or anything like that that we could use against.
Just a couple of magical ones.
Just a couple magical ones.
Yeah,
I
no.
forgot to take that invocation.
Hey,
Nope.
Brian, as we're there, are we spending at least 10 minutes?
He's gonna go ahead and use the spell.
Yep.
I mean, you're here for as long as you want to look at the inventory.
I'll look at the inventory and ritualize detect magic.
Okay. Do you need a roll for that?
Nope. So first, and for the duration up to 10 minutes, I can sense the presence of magic within 30 feet of me.
Alright, so as you are detecting magic in front of you, you notice that absolutely nothing in front of you seems to have magic cast upon it.
So are we going to Zork this? I turn left.
As you turn left, you sense no magic.
I turn left again.
As you turn left, how far can it reach?
30 feet.
30 feet. One of the clerics, you can tell, has a magic medallion.
Kill him.
Ooh. What? I'm gonna focus on his medallion. Medallion, and try and figure out what school of magic it is.
Let me check. Can't remember if I wrote down what school the spell is.
This is where the adventure leads.
This is where we get derailed because the druid has ritual detect magic and is willing to use it.
It is a...
Alright. Gilgamesh says that he requires half the gold up front.
Fair.
I can't figure out what, because I lent Aaron my handbook,
Okay.
so I don't have it. It's whatever class bless would be.
Oh, okay.
So you can tell. I mean, your knowledge enough of clerics, you're like, that is probably some form of blessed amulet.
Okay.
So at this point, we're going to cut to Gilgamesh, who is conversing with the governor. Gilgamesh is requesting half the gold up front. To which the governor just kind of looks at him and says, well, sir, what are you afraid you're going to die? Are you going to leave? What purpose do you have of taking the gold up front?
Needs equip.
He now speaks via music.
That is not on my list of languages.
So viewers, you can see in the middle box on the screen what he is saying. And apparently
Yes, he's
he
a bard.
magically transformed into art. He's dual classing, I guess. The governor at this point kind of looks taken aback. Good sir, you have no reason not to trust me. Mayhaps one of your stewards could watch over the gold until your return.
He does not sound happy.
Sounds Celtic.
Why didn't we make Sean be a bard? It'd be infinitely more entertaining.
Oops. Well, the reasoning would be, what if you choose not to do the mission and you leave town? And our town is now short 700 gold.
So then Vendetta comes back. He's like, "Yeah, that sounds good. I want to be paid first too."
How about we let your squire watch over the gold, but the gold will remain in the keep until your return. Kind of thinking it over, he says, "We will give all 250 to Sun Tzu, but Sun Tzu will not leave the keep until you return." Alright. So at this point, he calls the boy over who had brought the bag of gold in the first place, hands it to him, and just kind of whispers in his ear, explains who to take the gold to, and sends the boy off. And so the boy leaves, handing 250 gold to Sun Tzu, and then the rest they have kept with one of the clerics. So coming back to those of you at the armory, at this point Aranor learned that the head cleric, the cleric you saved from the temple, has a amulet of bless. What else would you like to do?
So I'll walk up to him and just kindly explain what we're going to do. Sorry, walking up to the head cleric and say, I can't know this, but I have this feeling that you have been blessed in some way. If I promise to return it, would you perhaps allow us to utilize your amulet while we are out on the battlefield?
The cleric just kind of looks at you in slight puzzlement. How would you have this knowledge? He asks.
Everywhere I go, I try to see everything that is possible. And I'm saying that with a straight face, no winks or anything.
Can you give me a
Deception?
deception roll?
Deception roll?
Yes.
Tell the truth. Alrighty.
Oh yeah.
Alright,
No
so
murder.
yeah, so he kind of just looks at you and nods, and he says, I understand where you are coming from, friend, but I cannot simply part with an amulet that was given to me by the head of my order. It is my sign of office.
Ah, understood. I appreciate it.
Is there anything else any of you guys would like to do before you set out?
I would like to ask about his pants.
Okay, go ahead.
Can we wear those into battle?
And are you talking to the cleric?
I was talking to the prisoner.
Oh, you're talking to the prisoner now?
No. Just ignore me.
I usually do.
Just trying.
So is there anything else you guys would like to do before you set out of town?
I would like to ask Governor Nightail if there's anything of compensation for my diligent effort of trying to kill the dragon guy.
As you return to the governor asking, he just kind of looks at you and he goes, what gold we have is what we have offered you for the current request we have given you. Perhaps if you find anything of value from the townsfolk at camp, they might be willing to reward you with some of what you found. Although I'm sure the townsfolk may at the same time look down on you if you do not return their stolen goods.
I will return their stolen goods, but is there no healing potions that may be provided? I did kind of almost die. Not to mention he has seen my face, and you're asking me to go back to his camp to where he has seen me.
Yeah, he nods and says, I would recommend perhaps talking to one of the clerics. Your reasoning may work with them.
Okay. I'll go find a cleric and try the same thing on them.
Okay. Do you go to the cleric that Aranor was talking with, or do you seek one of the other clerics?
I'll seek one of the other clerics.
Alright, so I mean, it's not difficult for you to find one of the clerics that you have spoken with before, one that was in the keep before you went on the mission to the temple. He's like, "Oh, sir, good. Thank you for what you have done. How may I be of service to you?"
I was wondering if you had possibly any healing potions or anything that will benefit our group. As we continue on with this quest to find out who attacked Greenest.
He kind of looks around. At this point, you notice he's kind of sitting in a corner that's kind of been made shift, into a form of a poor hospital almost. There's a few cots where some injured are lying, and they've kind of bandaged up some of the people. And he's like, let me check the supplies, and he checks a box behind him, and he kind of pulls out 2 small potions, and he says, these are the only potions we have left within the keep. Mayhaps there'll be more at the temple when we search there later, but I could offer you maybe one of them. We would like to keep one here in case there's some raiders lying in wait or something happens.
I tell him one shall be enough, and I shall leave my healer's kit for him.
Okay.
To possibly assist.
Yep. So you can add a standard healing potion to your inventory, and you can take out your healer's kit. Would anyone else like to do anything before you leave?
I take bets on if we're gonna live.
I hear you.
Oh, good. It's working.
Gil, we missed you.
Yeah, I'm going back to bed.
Gil, play nice.
So sorry, what were you saying?
I'm taking bets on if we live or die.
Oh, he's the opportunist.
Escargot comes up to me and puts 5 gold that we die.
Escobar does not take such a bet. He believes in you. He says, "I'll place 5 gold that you return safe and sound."
But wait, that's...
You'll want to pay that up front. Just only.
Yeah, he needs to pay that now.
Would any of you like to bet with Twidget on your survival?
Nope, I've
betting
learned
against
not
yourself,
to bet on
you
the party.
realize.
I'd like to place on a bet on how far I can kick you, Twidget.
Would anyone like to accept that bet?
The kicking bet?
Yeah. I mean, maybe Keithan and Gilgamesh want to bet who can kick you the furthest.
I call dibs on initiative, and the first to go. I'm gonna use my cunning action to run faster than everyone.
Oh, you can't run faster than everybody. I got you beat. I'll just shapeshift.
Alright. So is there anything else you guys
Sure.
want to do in the keep before you depart?
Nope.
I use the bathroom. Bathrooms on the road are no good.
Alright. So Twidget, give me a...
You actually roleplay as somebody with safe toilet syndrome.
Give me a perception check. Can you actually find a bathroom, or... No, don't do that. Don't do that. Alright, so as you guys are leaving town, a young man walks up to you, limping heavily on a bandaged leg. I hear you intend to follow the raiders and see where they've gone. I wish I could come with you, but in this condition, and he points to his leg, I'd only slow you down greatly. In the midst of all the tragedy, there's no reason you would have heard about the fate of my master, Leosin Erlithar. He is an elven monk. It is important that you know we are monks from Budusk. He disappeared last night after a particularly savage battle. A few others and I fought our way to the keep, barely, but my master didn't make it. We tried to look. My master didn't make it. We tried to look for him. All we found was his staff and his neck chokers. Is there any chance that on your travels, if you see my master, you could try to bring him back?
I step forward and say gladly, fellow elf.
What did you say his name was?
My master's name is Leosin.
Never heard of him. Nobody? Come on.
If you could bring him back, preferably alive, that would be favorable.
Of course.
Did he take an arrow to the knee? That's the only question I have for this guy.
You. all you.
What does your master
I
look
think-
like? How
I
would
think
we
you're
be able
muted.
to recognize him?
My master is a. Last we saw him, he was fighting alongside us, wearing a robe with some thin armor. Likely carrying. Well, I guess he wouldn't be carrying his staff, as his staff was broken. But he is of decent stature, thinly, dark hair, dark eyes, a wizened man.
Human?
He is elf.
Oh.
Human.
What kind of elf?
He is a wood elf, if you care to ask, sir.
Like it
Alright.
matters, they're
I
all the
like
same.
him already.
He's wooden.
Do you have something personal that we might be able to show him to let him know that we are not enemies and that we're affiliated with you?
That's a smart decision, sir. And he pulls out the broken leather choker. He kind of hands it to you, and he goes, "This is his. He would recognize it. He'd know it would come from us."
Alrighty then. I'll pocket that away.
Is there anything else you'd like to ask him before you continue on your way?
What time during the raid did he disappear?
It was very early on. We were staying at an inn on the outskirts of town. We were one of the first buildings hit. I have not seen him since. It was there that we found his staff and his broken choker.
Were there any signs that he was captured by anyone, or any signs of him leaving the area?
I guess we could ask around the keep. Did anybody take captives that we know of? Or did they just take loot?
The guy standing next to you is like, I have heard that there are others missing. We know not if they were taken or if they are merely dead and have not yet been found. My master has been studying the cult for some time, however, so if they knew who he was, they probably would have wanted him prisoner.
The cult. Which cult is this?
The cult of the dragons, the ones who attacked.
Okay.
Jerks.
If you could find him, the knowledge he has gained would be invaluable.
Alright.
Is there anything else, or would you like to continue on your way?
Well, I promise that I will keep an eye out for your master, and if I find him, I will do my best to bring him back alive.
He kind of bows thankfully, and he goes, I wish you all the best on your journey. I hope you can find my master. I hope he is in good health." Then he kind of turns and starts kind of wobbling off, using the staff for support, heading back towards the keep. So as you guys depart the town, following the raiders.
I noticed if he was limping on the same leg.
Yeah, he was clearly limping on the bandaged leg.
Okay.
This is a noticeably real wound. So as you guys depart, following the raiders is simple enough. They left a wide trail where they were walking away. But do you guys want to give me a active perception check that we can just use? So you guys can just give me a perception roll, and we'll use that as opposed to your normal perception checks.
That'll do.
Can anyone beat 21?
Maybe.
22.
Oh,
Indeed, I can.
Boom!
Oh!
Nice job.
25 beats that one. Gilgamesh, do you want to give us a perception check? Alright, so Gilgamesh is just not paying any attention at all as you guys are walking along. It's just a generic perception check, so that rather than have you guys roll perception like every 20 feet, this is kind of the active perception that you're using as you're following the trail.
I hate it when they fiddle with mice.
I'll fiddle with your mice.
I hope not.
Okay.
It would be your wisdom modifier plus if you are proficient in perception.
He said a bad word.
How did you have +7 there, Twidget?
That's what I'm trying to figure out. I think he put expertise in it.
Yeah,
Was I not supposed to?
he's a dumb rogue.
He's an expert perceptor.
I
It gives him a, is it double percept or double
Double
Oh.
proficiency?
Oh yeah, I botched that. Sorry, I did a stealth check. Allow me to re-roll.
All right, Galileus, our reputations might be intact then. I was just sitting here going,
man. I was just like,
that's-
+7.
geez, if he took expertise, I'm just going to switch to a cleric now because obviously we don't need another preceptor. Whew.
Alright, so 17 is much more roguish of you.
Yeah.
But as you guys are walking between Aranor and Galileus,
I was gonna say, I thought I would be the good tracker.
Yep. So as you guys are out about 4 miles away from the keep, you can see a thin line of smoke coming over a hill. The terrain at this point, it's fairly hilly, not to the point where it makes traveling difficult, but to the point that you never really know what's going to be a quarter mile in front of you. But at this point, you can see a thin line of smoke rising about a quarter mile out over the hills.
Now, does the trail lead towards them, or is this just completely away from the trail?
This is following along the trail.
So
And
kind
I'll
of the trail.
throw you guys here onto a new map, but all it shows so far here is a little bit of shrubberies.
Another shrubbery.
I need to remember not to say the word shrubbery. So how would you guys like to react as you see the smoke?
Sorry, but clarification. So trail leading straight to the smoke.
Yep, the trail is leading straight to the smoke.
Okay.
Well, give a little stealth, I'm thinking.
Yeah, I'm thinking some stealthiness is in order.
Okay.
Yep.
Provided the others are agreed, I'll lean over to the orc, or sorry, half orc, and whisper, "We're stealthing now. Grab your armor."
Have
And-
your armor.
By
If
that I
history
mean-
plays out, he'll be the most stealthy of all of you.
Okay. Oh. Well,
Does that work? Do you guide all of us or just one?
just one. I'm no cleric. I can't bless you.
Okay. A 17 stealth roll for me.
So are all of you stealthing up as you proceed, or are you going to send scouts? What are your guys' plans?
What's the lighting like here, Brian?
It is about 1, 2 in the afternoon,
Thank you.
so it's fairly bright out. And if anyone wants to help support the Get Gilgamesh a New Computer Fund, you can tweet at GamersRemorse. We'll tell you where to go.
Doesn't have to be a lot. Every little bit helps.
Mm-hmm.
$5 is an improvement.
A 486 is fine.
Oh, it's just harsh.
Fine. A Pentium 1.
Alright, so Twidget, Galaneus, and Keithan have all stealthed up.
And I will also roll.
Nice.
I guess if
We
they're
are
all
some
gonna,
stealthy people.
I will follow after I know that they've successfully done it.
Galaneus,
And
just
I probably
you
blew it.
wait.
It's only a 6, so I think.
I think we're gonna turn back to you and go, shh, stay there.
Yeah, yeah. Because you wouldn't
Stay.
know that you're not stealthy.
We will tell you.
Yes.
Vendetta's walking around with like bells and maracas.
He's eating Cheetos out of the bag.
Am I doing it, guys? Am I quiet?
You're doing it wrong, Vendetta.
Alright, so as you guys stealthed up, how would you like to proceed?
Quietly.
So this is bush, tree kind of stuff, or?
Yep, so let's get my mouse to the right side. The bushes here are about like a 2 by 2 foot, kind of like a small bush. Well,
Alright.
the trees are more, like an 8 foot, not quite pine, but something along those lines.
I will break off 2 branches of the bush and hold them like a tree. Stand in the open.
So as you're scouting about, where's my reveal button? You can kind of see up to here where there's some pretty big rocks. These are like giant rocks as well as some really thick brush up ahead.
I signal the others possible trap.
Can we see anything in there?
Not from this distance, it's fairly thick. And what would possible trap look like in signal form?
Okay. I'm gonna go around just a little bit more, around the edge here.
Okay. From here,
I guess I can move 30 feet or so.
How do I zoom
And I
out?
dash and duck underneath this bush.
Do you have
Right.
dash?
No.
Oh.
I will
By
I'm gonna-
dash, I simply mean move to this bush and duck it down.
I'm gonna use my cunning action to move 35 feet.
so you guys can give me your prime locations where you want to sit, and we will. Once you're all in position, I'll show you what you guys could see.
Okay.
All right.
Stop moving.
I'll go here.
If he leaves the tree, oh, okay. I'll stay in my bush then.
Okay. Are you guys all ready?
Yeah.
All right. So Aranor can see there's some kobolds kind of standing off over here.
Mm-hmm.
Twidget, what was your stealth check? 22? So this is about what you guys could see here. There's a few humans. Actually, I'll twitch it. I'll let you see a bit further. So there's some humans kind of standing around a fire, kind of cooking over the fire. And then Aranor, you can see a few kobolds off on the other side. All of them seem to be talking in hushed whispers, and at this point you can't really hear what they can say.
Alright. I move up to these rocks and try to hide behind them to get a little bit closer.
Okay. At this point, do you want to give me a perception? Give me a new perception check. See if you can make out what they're saying.
17.
Okay, yeah, so you can kind of hear the humans, and there's like, essentially one of them, the guy closest to the fire with some meat over the fire, is just like, stupid kobolds don't know how to keep watch at all. Wouldn't be surprised if they're dead by the end of the day. We don't need them here anyways. The other guy's like, hey man, you gotta be careful. If they hear you, they might turn on us. They're kobolds. You know, they're just pretty much complaining about how terrible kobolds are, in hushed tones.
They don't even make good jerky.
Yeah, jerky is terrible.
I use this information. I start sneaking back to my bush, and I sneak over to this guy. Is this Vendetta here?
Yep.
Alright, because Vendetta, you know spells, right?
Sure.
Do you know something where you could mimic a voice or something?
Mimic a voice. Sure.
Alright, these humans don't like the kobolds, but they're afraid to let them know. I think if you can mimic the humans' voices complaining about the kobolds, talking about how stupid they are, we might be able to cause some infighting.
Okay. What's my range on that? 30 feet? Yeah, minor illusion is 30 feet. So I would need to get up over in this area, probably, right?
Okay, yeah, probably.
So I can try to make a stealth check to get over here. Is that reasonable, Brian?
Yeah, go for it.
Don't roll worse than a 3.
That's more like it.
A +3, so that's 20.
So you can get there pretty easily. And how far into the trees do you want to get?
Can I see anything on the other side yet?
Yeah, so from where you're at, kind of peeking through, it's fairly thick brush, so you can't see like super far. But you can see there's kind of a pile of weapons
Look at that.
in the distance. Looks like a couple swords.
Okay.
Alright, meanwhile, I am going to, stop it. Here we go. I'm going to try to move and start sharing the plan with some of the others.
Okay.
Do I need a stealth check for this, or is it still using the stealth check from before?
You're far enough away that we're just going to let you keep running with the other one. When you get more close in range to them, we'll have you reroll.
Okay.
And I'm
So
gonna
I
wait.
explain the plan to this guy here. Which one is this?
That'd be me, Kevin.
Keithan, whatever.
Keithan? Alright. So I explained to Keithan what we're doing. So
Okay.
basically, humans don't like kobolds. trying to create infighting.
So, can these guys see me over here?
Yeah, if you're just on the fringe of the trees.
Okay. So I'm going to point at the human side over here, so that they can see. Okay, here it is, and then I'm going to go point at the ground, and then wave my hands like this, like, oh look, my hands are empty, and then I'm going to cast an illusion so that you can. It looks like there's this pile of weapons there.
All right.
So they get basically it's so they get the clue that oh, there's a pile of weapons that they're not holding right now.
Yeah. And the rest of you interpret that however you desire, because you don't have that same knowledge that there is actually a pile of weapons. So whatever you'd think when you see Vendetta pointing and making fake weapons appear on the ground.
Sort of French mime or something.
Is he in a box?
He wants to be a magician.
Stand back and watch his magic trick. What?
Something about weapons, I would guess. Something about what kind of weapons are those?
He's going to leave his weapons there for us to pick up. Okay, got it.
Okay. I'm not sure. You try to signal back or something. I'm gonna run around to this guy.
I'll try and signal to Vendetta, point at him, and then point at my ear, and make a funny hand gesture like casting a spell.
So then I don't have any pupils since I'm a tiefling, so I roll my eyes and I can't tell if he can see that.
You can make an illusion of an eye that's just rolling.
There you go, yeah.
I don't know, did I see his eye roll?
I think a 13, you get the idea that he's doing something with his eyes, but you're not entirely sure what's happening.
Okay. I roll my eyes and then I make an illusion, use my minor illusion to cast a very, very quiet whisper that says, "The humans have their weapons on the ground."
I look back and shake my head. Now I understand.
It's like, oh, why didn't you just say so?
By this time, I've explained the plan to this Aranor here.
Yep.
Yep.
And I think I've probably gotten
And
impatient
now
enough, so I'm probably not going to wait for you to keep
I'm
going all the
over
way around.
here.
Well-
Gilgamesh.
So by the time, actually, before you do that, after you've informed him, I'm not going to wait for you to come all the way around or go all the way over to Gilgamesh.
Okay.
I'm going to cast the minor illusion about here-ish on the over here and make it loud enough so that they can hear that. Basically, repeat what they said.
Okay.
Meantime, I'm listening to whatever they say. Oops, sorry. So I'm listening to what they say so I can make it sound like their voice and make it sound believable.
Okay. So, I mean, you guys, how loud do you want to make this?
So, if it's that loud, my guess is it's going to be heard by both camps.
Yeah. Maybe it's not the best choice then. Because I should do it here, actually. Maybe I should just jump out and get him.
I'm going to move up 10 feet to the other side of this rock.
Okay.
So, let's just do that. Let's just jump out and get him. So,
All of this planning for him to just jump out.
yeah,
Wow.
Try to go for it.
Wow. Completely independent of that, because that's all going on while I'm watching.
Yeah. So as they're running around doing all that, what are you doing, Twitchit?
I take the skull, right? Like I had carved the head off of that one kobold that I made jerky out of. I place it on my own head, right? I think it's gonna be an awesome disguise, but there's like stuff dripping down the side of my face. You know, it's obviously like a non-tanned pelt on my head, right?
Yeah.
It's pretty gross.
It's
And I scream something in Draconic, right? Loud enough such that these guys can hear me,
okay.
right? I step out, and I shoot an arrow at this guy. And I try and do it so fast that they maybe think it's a kobold.
All right, so this is happening. And we're just going to try to time all of this. This is happening about the time that that Galileus was explaining what he was doing to Aranor. So this is a surprise round because they don't know what's coming. So after Twidget makes this attack, everyone will roll initiative.
Can I jump in there?
So I don't get
real
to
quick?
jump out and do a flaming hands on him?
Well, they don't know where you're at. At this point, all they will know is Twidget. So
But they don't know it's me.
Well, they just know they're about to get shot.
They just know something said in Draconic, sounding like a kobold, kind of like a whelpy hoarse voice, and like a pelt.
Yeah.
Because you had said it's still kind of dark yet, right?
Yeah. Well, no, it's like mid-afternoon. It's like 2 o'clock.
Oh, it's
1 o'clock in the
mid-afternoon.
afternoon.
They're around a fire in the middle afternoon. Okay.
They're cooking.
It's mid-afternoon. I'm behind a tree. Okay. So, all of that's happening. All right. So I will have advantage, right? Sneak attack. Do I get sneak attack? Yeah, because I have advantage.
Yep, surprise.
So all of those things happen.
So 22 is a hit. Were you targeting this guy?
No,
Or this
this guy. Yep.
Okay. So 22 is a hit. So this guy just kind of like gets shot and just drops. You know, he kind of just collapses. At which point, the camp just goes in uproar.
Then I use my bonus action thing and then cunning to hide.
Okay.
So I'm gonna try and hide back behind here.
And
I don't know how well that's gonna work.
Does cunning action come with a roll? Or is it
Cunning
just...
action, no.
Alright, so it's just a
The
bonus
hide
action.
will. Yeah.
Hide would be my cunning action.
Well, you use your cunning action to hide,
Yes.
but then you have to make a check with hide.
True. What does that count as? That's straight D20.
Stealth.
Oh, okay.
He's okay with stealth.
Ooh, that hurts.
Yikes.
So I mean, it's kind of like the cartoon-esque, like hiding behind a tree, where there's like a tree here and you're here.
I throw on my 2 branches, I grab it.
The pelt slowly falls off my head.
So at this point, everyone give me initiative.
That was so bad. It was awesome.
It was really bad.
I shouldn't have rolled that.
I should probably get rid of the
Roll
initiative.
so it
Kidding
roll.
me. Freaking
Where
two.
am I? Did I disappear? I tried to, but
Sorry, I forgot to use the actual
there I
button.
am.
I just dropped you in. They always do that wrong. So, alright, turn order is set. And after surprise round, Twidget, you are up.